seems surreal, though, doesn't it, Hilary, that a year on, something that we were expecting to be sorted within 6 to 8 weeks initially, we are still in the midst and still in the struggle of coronavirus.
Yeah, and if you look at what's going on around the world, it's approaching another surge of cases. So Brazil, 2,200 deaths a day compared to our 33 reported yesterday. So there are new variants, there are surges, people are ignoring social distancing rules. In France, they're in real trouble with ITU units full. In Italy, they've got almost full lockdown in most areas. Germany are concerned about another lockdown having to be imposed. So there's certainly no room for complacency. And what we have here is a virus that hasn't changed particularly, except with new variants. So it's still very transmissible. And it's still quite lethal for some people. And we mustn't rely completely on vaccination.
No.
We've done brilliantly well with a record number of vaccinations done, yes, over 800,000 in one day. The equivalent of vaccinating the entire cities of Southampton, Oxford and Liverpool in one day. But vaccination is not going to be the only way out of this. We're still going to have to abide by restrictions and regulations.
When we look at what is happening in Europe, as you say, I mean, still, their infection rates are not down at the levels of our infection rates.
No, they're not.
And it just reminds us that this time last year, we were looking at what was happening, particularly in Italy, and still sort of convincing ourselves it's all right, it won't happen here. And we mustn't do that again.
No, absolutely. I think there was a sense of denial then, that it was located over there, that it wouldn't come here, or that we'd be able to handle it somehow. We'd rely on our NHS, or somehow our population would be resilient. And, of course, that wasn't the case. This is a global pandemic. This is going to affect every population in the same way. And whilst we have done extremely well, we do have a pretty tired NHS workforce, to say the least, exhausted, I would say. We've still got a large number of people on ventilators. We're still seeing 5,500 new cases testing positive every day, and that's just the ones we're testing. So we're certainly not out of the woods yet. And with pandemics, we know from history that they take a long time to settle down again, because it sweeps across the world. It can come back again, as it did in the Spanish flu of 1918. So, you know, people should stop thinking about short durations. This is going to take some time to get through, I'm afraid, but we just have to be realistic about that.
The vaccine programme, according to The Guardian this morning, because, of course, we know that the EU is threatening this ban on exports of vaccines from the blocs to the UK, because they have an issue about over how many vaccines they're getting, despite the fact that they seem to be, as individual countries, undermining
pretty
confidence
reticent
in the vaccines, or one particular vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, that they have available to them. But according to The Guardian, Britain's COVID vaccination scheme could be delayed by 2 months in the event of that ban. And that, of course, would derail our plans to come out of lockdown. I mean, you say the vaccination programme isn't the be-all and end-all, but my goodness, it's the greatest chance we've got.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what we do know is that our vaccination scheme is going so well that actually it was in advance of expectations. So any delay from the EU will put it back to probably where it was. So not too drastic, provided we don't have supply chain delays of more than a month or so. There's a dispute going on between the contracts that the EU had with AstraZeneca and the UK had with AstraZeneca. They were different contracts. The UK, as I understand it, as was better and more secure, and UK law is much more binding in terms of these contracts than the EU the contracts were, as I understand it. So we should be assured of those vaccines. Probably there will be a bit of a dispute. Certainly, the UK government put more money into the manufacturing of the AstraZeneca vaccine in the initial process. So we have that advantage as well. So I think it'll be sorted out. I mean, the EU are in trouble. They did nothing to reinforce confidence in the AstraZeneca vaccine
President
by
Macron
delaying.
said that for over 65s it was quasi ineffective.
Which was wrong.
17 EU countries suspended
absolutely
the AstraZeneca
Yeah, and
rollout.
they delayed its approval. Then they caused doubt over any side effects, which has now been ruled out. If you look, actually, at the number of blood clots we've had reported post-vaccination, it's actually less than you'd expect in normal circumstances.
Yeah.
So there is an argument, and some doctors are saying it actually protects against blood clots, let alone causing them. So, you know, we need to get over this exaggerated worry over vaccines.
Well,
It's
here
incredibly
we've
safe.
had 2 days of record numbers of vaccinations. On Friday,
Everyone and anyone's getting them these days.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went along to St Thomas's Hospital on Friday, just before the Prime Minister, and got my vaccine.
Is that the actual moment of impact? Because you look like you've taken a bit of a strike.
Yeah, it's an electric shock of a vaccine, just like to say, and wearing a T-shirt that Charlotte gave me for my 50th birthday.
Oh.
Vintage 1970, in case anyone is worried that I'm far too young to be given the vaccination.
Very wide. How was it? Was it the whole experience was...
So super quick and easy and straightforward. And, you know, as everybody will say, all you feel is a little scratch when it happens, if that. I had to look away because I don't like looking at needles. I don't have a fear of them. I just would rather not see what's going on. And then I waited for any symptoms because, of course, one of the reasons I'd moved my appointment to Friday was because I didn't want to be getting up at 4 o'clock the next morning because lots of people have reported feeling very tired. And all day Saturday, I kept thinking, when is it going to come? When am I going to start feeling flu? And then about 9 o'clock, Saturday night, out cold for about an hour.
OK.
Just really, really hit by tiredness. But just for an hour, and then went to sleep normally later on.
That's most people's experience, just an hour's fatigue, and your antibodies are, you know, kicking in.
Working hard.